Oh, yeah, I read this one, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the October 9th, 2025 Rockingham County Board of Commissioners meeting. We start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I ask everyone to rise. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move on to attendance. In the Board of Commissioners room, we have all three Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Godu, Commissioner Tombrello, and myself. Also in the room, we welcome Plastow Fire Chief Newton, sorry, Allison Kivakowski, Jason Henry, Chuck Nickerson, Jude Gates. We have Kendra Mayall and Layla Matilla. In Zooland, I see there's Erin Coker's here, Kathy Stacy, and
Chris's iPad.
Chris's iPad.
Who was that?
Chris, would you care to identify yourself just for?
Just a member of the public?
Okay, just a member of the public.
Oh, you'd have to unmute him to.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
There you
Yes,
go,
I'm sorry. Hello, my name is Christopher Roosevelt. I'm citizens of Newfields, and I'm here for the paramedic regional discussion, regional
thank you.
paramedic service discussion.
Thank you for being here.
Great.
All right, first we have openings, the commissary service inmate account systems, Department of Corrections.
I'll make a motion to authorize the superintendent of the Department of Corrections to review available proposals and determine the recommendation.
Second.
Any discussion? No. Hearing none. Commissioner Tombrello.
Yes.
Commissioner Godu.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have an award for Driscoll 2 painting.
We'll make a motion to award the proposal Rockingham Nursing Driscoll to painting to Arts Painting Inc. for an estimate for an amount not to exceed $14,860 as recommended by the Senior Director of Facilities Planning and IT.
Second.
Discussion?
This seems really inexpensive compared to the other proposal was almost double. It seemed, I'm, of course, it makes you scratch your head, you know, why such a discrepancy, but these people, you kind of made sure they understand what they're doing.
Purposes, yes.
Yeah.
They've done nursing homes. I think I might have mentioned it last
We
week.
talked
They've done
about-
Riverwoods. That was why
Oh, right.
it took me an
Right.
extra week to make the award. I wanted to really vet
Vet
them,
them.
so. Yep,
Great
Okay.
price. Thank you.
thank you.
On the motion, Commissioner Godu?
Yes.
Commissioner Tombrello?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have the award for moving services for Deeds County Attorney Sheriff's Department.
I'll make a motion with the proposal for moving services for the Registry of Deeds, County Attorney's Office and the Sheriff's Department to Preferred Movers LLC for amount not to exceed $25,000 as recommended by the Senior Director of Facilities Planning and IT.
Second.
Discussion.
I know Jude has worked hard at making sure that all this stuff and people have come to visit and I assume they've got measurements out and they addressed Kathy's concerns and they seem to be on top of it all. It sounds like a good deal to me.
I
Yeah.
checked their references as well. One of the companies they do work for is a high-end door and window company. They do all of their moving, heavy stuff, delicate stuff. They do it all, and people, both the contractors and the shippers have said good things about them, and had really stellar references, so I'm hopeful.
Yeah, but I think we had, again, they seem really well equipped to
Mhm.
handle the big things that we have to.
They're
do, so
huge.
It's great.
A lot more money.
Yeah.
So did I.
I know.
They actually have to take some of Kathy's stuff apart.
Yep.
Put it back together. and I was surprised it was only 25,000.
And they're individually wrapping and indexing
Right.
her books so that they end up in exactly the same place when they get to the
Amazing.
other end. They really seem to know what the scope of the work was, so.
Great. Okay, on the motion, Commissioner Tombrello?
Yes.
Commissioner Godu?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Gonna move right into the consent agenda. And first, we have the meeting minutes approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the September 4th, 2025 public minutes and non-public minutes pertaining to security at the September 11th, two thousand and twenty-five public and non-public minutes.
Second,
Any discussion? Thank you, Lilo. Wonderful as always. Thank you. On the motion, Commissioner Godu,
yes.
Commissioner Tombrello.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have the agency's nursing staff report. Anyone tender view, or does anybody else have anything you want to share about that?
No, I think we're still working towards moving the hiring. We have 16 people for next week. The majority are all nursing with the exception of the correctional officers and a manager over at the Department of Corrections. So I think we're just gonna keep plowing ahead on that. A lot of activities going on there.
Fantastic. It's really great to see. I mean, I think and this is to you, Allison, having the open house for staffing was just great. For new hires, it really seems like we've generated a lot from that, so that's a wonderful thing.
I hope we'll continue to do maybe a half year one as well. But
Yeah, just another job there.
Yeah,
That's
for
great.
sure.
I mean, it seems like it really generates a lot of interest. So if we do it every 6-month job fair, that would just be great.
It's just the load on those people participating,
know.
but it's no other outside cost to that for us to do it, because
Yeah.
we're doing it in-house.
It's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Allison, to you and your team
No,
for those.
no, thank you.
Okay, next we have the October 10th, 2025 payroll.
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll expenses in the amount of $1,701,846.67 for the period ending October 4th of 2025.
Second,
Discussion, slightly
it's
high.
$100,000 extra.
Some of it is in part to HSA contribution payouts.
So the DOC physical fitness stipends for 16,000 were included, then you have the payroll expenses on those. And then you also have over 17,000 in employer HSA contributions. And that's because of new hires. We actually paid out at least 10 more individuals in this payroll than last payroll. And it would appear based on the employer HSAs that those people were, I think, even what I've seen from increase in the NERS file too, all like full-time individuals. So it's, and again, all the payroll expenses on 10 new individuals as
Okay.
well, and their wages.
Thank you.
So
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Commissioner Tombrello,
Yes.
Commissioner Godu?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Commissioners updates. Anybody have anything you want to share this week?
I just came from across the street at the new building, and every time I go over there, I'm more excited. It's all nice and clean. The lines are written on the, for the parking lot there, and, it's just beautiful inside, and, it's gonna be something we're all proud of. But
Yeah.
that's all I have for an update. It's
It's really,
great job for everybody who's
So-
involved.
I mean, we're a month out from our from ribbon cutting ceremony. It's just, it's wild. Very exciting. You can't believe it's here. I mean, it just. I can't believe it's here. Crazy.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. Jude, might you take a nap after this?
Oh, no, we'll get a new project for you, June. We don't want you to be bored.
I'm ready.
Okay,
I also, when I did the scarecrow decorating the other night, I took my wife and we drove in there and around the back, and she's, can't believe it.
yeah. And the scarecrows look great. They're out and up and looks great.
Superman, I saw Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have saw the other ones first. I thought it was, I didn't know that everybody was gonna take like a week to build it, you know?
I like Betty Boop.
I think.
Who did Betty Boop?
I don't.
We can't release that.
Yeah.
It's a secret, sorry.
My only prediction would be Scooby-Doo.
Nice.
Wait, no, there's no, you can't like plan any.
If I would buy
Not
it,
proper use of.
if I would buy it, some other clothing, I would go for Scooby-Doo. I don't know who it is, I have no idea.
Okay. Moving on, we have, Chief here for the Regional Paramedic Intercept Program. So come on up and have a seat and welcome. We're, happy to hear from you.
Madam Chair, thank you for getting me on your agenda today. Got a handout here, kind of gives an overview of where the program came from. So you remember, back at the end of last year, Beth Israel Hospital, after they acquired Exeter Hospital, decided they were gonna sunset the Exeter paramedic program, which provided pre-hospital care to 13 communities. They originally gave a 2-week notice through the Department of Justice that got extended to the end of the year, and then extended one more time to give time to get another system in place. The Seacoast Fire Chiefs came together to try to figure out different solutions to sustain this life-saving program. I brought forth a municipal concept. I believe in municipal plans where there's really no profit. It's just providing the service for what that service cost. So the Seacoast Chiefs went through a bunch of different plans, if you will, from a private ownership company to a for-profit ambulance service to our municipal plan. And obviously our municipal plan was favorable because of the cost being just what it cost to operate. Our town voted to take that on and for us to provide the regional paramedic program to not only the 13 original communities that were part of the Exeter system, but an additional 5 more communities that wanted to come on board that needed these services as well. So right off the bat, we immediately grew the service by 38% and is now provide paramedics to 18 communities when they need them. Beth Israel donated a large amount of seed money to get this program off the ground. And the Donner Foundation, one of our philanthropy partners, donated a significant amount of money as well to get the program kicked off. So that took care of the initial funding to get the program started the first year, which is 2025 going into 2026. And then I'm also working with the Department of Justice for some funding for 2026 as well. What I'm looking for and what the communities are looking for is a financial plan that will make this sustainable to where these fire chiefs and communities never have to worry about this problem again. So part of the initial plan that I brought forth was to have a slow buy-in from the towns that we service specifically that pays for the system. That has been met with some roadblocks and speed bumps because of some of the RSAs that are out there that prevent multi-year contracts without it going on a ballot. So it's hard to take what the cost of the system is, distribute it to the towns that we service, then they put it on a ballot, and then if a town defaults their budget or the voters vote it down, now everybody else's amount changes. Well, now it's too late because the other towns have already voted on their budget. So it's kind of become somewhat problematic to try to get this into individual town budgets to get it paid for. The communities that we serve, if you look on the next page is the map of all the communities that we're servicing right now. Some of those we are the primary paramedic response. Some of those we're an ancillary response, being that they have paramedics on sometimes, but not all the time. And that's where we have 2 different response units, one out of Plastow and one out of Brentwood. What we provide is paramedics and paramedic level care for the high acute patients. We're not going on calls that are minor in nature. We don't go on lift assists. We are reserved when the 911 emergency medical dispatcher classifies the call on what it would be considered Charlie, Delta, and Echo. So it's the higher level of acuity calls for these towns. We don't provide an ambulance and we don't provide EMTs. The local communities still have to provide the ambulance and they still have to provide at least 2 EMTs to respond on these calls. What we're providing is an ancillary service for that high-end, high acute pre-hospital care at the paramedic level. Our first 6 months of service, we've responded to over 1,400 calls. So that includes all activations. So some of those are cancellations, but we've responded over 1,400 calls. One of the things our paramedics bring to these communities, that's beyond the scope of a normal paramedic, that we have to get extra permission, if you will, from the Department of Health and EMS in New Hampshire, is what's called rapid sequence intubation. So these are your really sick patients that are either very traumatically injured or very sick. And what we do with those patients is the best way to explain that for the non-medical people This is like going to surgery and you get put under general anesthesia. Our paramedics give a sedative to sedate the patient. We give a paralytic to paralyze them. Then we take over their respiratory drive and put them on a ventilator. Since the first 6 months, we've done that to 15 patients already. We've administered over 1,300 medications to patients in our service area at the paramedic level. And our paramedics have performed over 3,400 interventions on these patients. We've responded to 16 cardiac arrests. Out of those 16 cardiac arrests, we've achieved what's called return of spontaneous circulation on 11 of those patients. So we're giving those patients the chance of survival that they need. So I think that really illustrates the need and the importance of what our paramedics do every single day in Rockingham County. Like I said, we're not contracted with every community in the county. The larger communities have the infrastructure in place to have their own paramedics. We are servicing these smaller communities that don't have the infrastructure to do that. They don't have the call volume on an individual department level to provide that. And a system of regionalization really works for that. And we're using the spirit of RSA 53A, which promotes regionalization, especially when a system would create a cost savings to the taxpayers. And that's exactly what we're doing by regionalizing these services is creating a significant cost savings. The other aspect besides pre-hospital care that our program brings to this area or this region is we bring some of the best clinical educators in this system around. Most of our clinical educators come from the Boston Med-Flat system. Our quality assurance individual and deputy chief of EMS is a flight medic with Boston Med-Flight, and he brings with him a whole line of clinical excellence in education. And we're bringing that to these communities as well at a very low cost. So the first 6 months, we've already delivered over 4,200 student contact hours of high-class education to other responders at the EMT and paramedic levels within these communities. So I've developed a plan that's kind of like all encompassing from the response to the preparation to the response, if you will, for that. Again, at an individual basis, these towns can't afford paramedics. Even if they could, there's not enough paramedics to go around for all these towns. At a small town response, there's not enough call volume to keep the paramedics good at their skills. So we kind of need a regional system to solve this problem. I said, only go on the higher acute calls. We're not providing an ambulance. We're not providing EMTs. The individual communities either have to have a contracted ambulance with another town, or they provide the ambulance for transport, within their town. We do charge. So this isn't necessarily a free service, but it's a very low charge that we have two different rates that we charge. Moving forward in the budget that I'm proposing, an ALS 1 charge for the town is $115 and an ALS 2 charge to the town is $327. And that's to the transporting agency. So I'm not proposing that the system is free to the communities. They're still paying as they use it. And that this helps offset the budget, if you will, in the long term.
Could I interrupt you just for 1 second? The cost that you would propose that they would pay, the 118 or 37, what percentage of the overall cost does that cover?
We're still collecting that data. So when I looked at Exeter Hospital, they didn't have a lot of good records on what they were bringing in. So we're still looking at what does that number really look like? I think on the low end, 200,000, on the high end, 300,000.
I meant percentage of the total cost for is it 10%?
Oh, the
operate
operating
the
program.
program.
I don't have that percentage. I could get it. for
Okay,
you.
that's just,
Yeah.
I mean, they're paying, but they're only paying for 10% or 20%.
That's, I can tell you, it's a really low number.
Right, okay.
Probably even lower, because
right.
if this I mean, think about it, if you're, I mean, the number, we can do the math very quickly. If you say they've 1,400 calls for service, right?
If,
Yeah. Yeah, if
You
you
could divide that.
1,439 times, let's average, we'll just say average 200, right? And that's 287, it's,
probably I got about 11%.
yeah, I was gonna say 10%.
10, 11%, yeah. So it's a very small number. The overhead cost is the standing by, the readiness, if you will, for the program. Having the paramedics available to respond, that's the high cost for the system.
So I guess my question is, I get that it sounds like your initial model was predicated on the towns utilizing the service being charged probably based on the size of the community, right? I mean, it's just like you take the overall population, each town's population.
You know, pay a certain percentage of that
Yeah.
population, right?
And the issue is, which makes sense, right? It's like really the towns utilizing this regional service. It's hard. What I'm trying to figure out from sort of like the constituents. My constituency, for instance, and I don't mean to, it's like, no one is utilizing the service. So how do I go back to my constituents and say, pay for,
For the readiness side of it,
no, but pay, they're not utilizing the service. So like Portsmouth, Rye, Greenland, Newington, Northampton, none of them are utilizing the service, right? Because they're not within the system, or they have their own. But the
But they don't
issue,
need it,
they don't need it.
No,
because they're paying for it.
So we're moving from a model that's like, and this is the challenge, right? I mean, you could make the same argument with dispatch services, right? Where the tax rate gets set for every all the 37 communities. But this would be a new bringing it on. But how do I tell Portsmouth, you're paying for ambulatory services, or not ambulatory, but response services for some of the communities because they don't want to put it on the town doesn't want to.
I think, right, can I just,
Sure.
I think they're not, you're nice, you're saying lift, basically, the lift in my terms is fall out of bed. You're not going to Portsmouth for somebody falling out of bed, you're going for somebody that's gonna get in the car, it's in 101, that could be going home to Portsmouth.
that's the other,
You gotta go through those towns, so they might not utilize it by going to the town, and I don't mean fall out of bed, but, you're not going to those calls, you're going, somebody on 101 that's going home to Portsmouth that gets in a head-on collision. They're gonna need you guys, so they're gonna use that service. All right?
Well, we're correct. So we don't just service the residents of the towns. It's anybody traveling through these communities as well. So when you look at the chunk of Rockingham County that we service, the majority of the population is probably traveling through those areas. And if they should have either a medical emergency or involved in a, traffic accident, we're gonna be the response
Right.
for that. And we're also gonna be the response,
But is it worthwhile? I know what you're saying.
Because the corollary is the person in someone who goes out and gets in an accident in Portsmouth that lives in Danville is like getting serviced by, I don't think we.
Right.
I want to apologize. I started this. We interrupted his
Yeah.
presentation. If you guys,
Oh, yeah, please.
I'd like him to finish.
You had concluded your presentation, by all means.
No, I interrupted. Sorry.
so I appreciate the concern that, if these communities don't use it, why should they have to pay for it? Or we're an ancillary service that would be available for anybody that needed us. If you just happen to be in a town that has all these services, yes, our utilization might be low, but it doesn't mean that you might need us from time to time. So some of the other things that we want to bring to the area, that if the federal government passes the budget, we do have some congressional money coming in for this program, and part of that is going to be used to implement a mass casualty response capability. So we're kind of beyond the everyday calls. We're wanting to get into, well, maybe Portsmouth doesn't use us on an everyday call, but now we're going to be able to bring a mass casualty response capability to that area. The other thing that we're working on is developing a pre-hospital blood delivery program that currently does not exist in New Hampshire. So we're working with the New Hampshire Board of Health, Office of EMS, and our resource hospital to try to get pre-hospital blood implemented that nobody else can do yet in this county or the state. So we're going to be bringing future initiatives that these other towns can't provide or don't have the resources to provide. So yes, on an everyday utilization, they're probably not using us because they have that. but that doesn't mean that they might not need us. Kind of like, the model of, and not to steal somebody else's, model, but like in law enforcement, all these towns have police departments. But every once in a while, you might need help from the sheriff's department, or you might need a SWAT team to come in, and you need that extra resource to come in. Translate that to an EMS side of stuff is we're not going on every single call, everyday calls. We're not going on the domestic violence calls, but when you need that SWAT, when you need that paramedic high level pre-hospital care response or a mass casualty response, we would be the ones that help supplement that. The other thing I think is important to discuss is our town manages this program, but this program is not part of my fire department budget for our town. None of the money that comes into this program, either through collections, through donations, through any other funding source, does it get intermixed with our fire department budget. This all is dedicated to the ALS program. It's a special account the town sets up. We have our own budget lines. Our town is not making any money on this program. So you can say, oh, that's pretty crazy. Why? The town should be charging so much for the program. We don't charge an overhead for the program, where there's some small cost sharing with some of the town employees that have shared responsibilities. Like our dispatchers get a little bit extra stipend because they manage the dispatch side of it. My salary has a little bit of a mixed thing, but it's all really small numbers for the program. So our town is really interested in just helping provide the solution to this. We're not looking to offset any of the town budget, any of my fire department budget. The employees are not shared with fire trucks. These are paramedics only that respond in special SUVs that are equipped at that high level of care. I don't think I had anything else I was going to share with you. Like I said, the hurdle I'm running into with individual towns paying for it is you have some of these really smaller communities that only utilize the service 15 times a year. Right? They're a small bedroom community. They don't have a high population. They're utilizing the service 15 times a year when they need paramedics. There's no other choices around them for paramedics. So if we didn't exist, they're not getting paramedic level care. And when you look at the cost sharing, that community might wind up having to pay $40,000 or $50,000. So now it's like, how do you sell that? Because that's such a high cost for such a low need. And then you have a community drop out because like, well, I can't afford that. We're not, we can't get it in the budget. Well, now everybody else's cost keeps going up and up. And I'm afraid if we continue down the road of that model, it's just going to fracture the system and, or not, the systems is going to go away and these communities will not have paramedics for them.
Well, yeah, Jason, did you?
It's just one question. I understand, Commissioner, where you're at with selling it to your constituents. I heard that you had high level training that you provide. Are you providing the high level training at no cost to these other towns that maybe are not utilizing this system, say Portsmouth and those other areas? So that's something that can be talked about.
That is something that we could most definitely implement. We currently offer that to the 18 communities that we are under intermunicipal agreements with now. If we go to a county-wide system, we could most definitely discuss what that would look like and provide. And when I talk about some of the classes, so the latest class we just delivered has to deal with active shooter response training. So it's a class called TECC, Tactical Emergency Combat Care. This class typically costs $600 a person. We provided it for our departments for free. The only cost that we have that comes out of our budget is the cost of the instructor. The instructor isn't making that much money, but it's set that some of the companies that deliver this training, they're trying to make a tremendous profit. We cut the profit out. We're no one's making a profit. The instructor gets paid an hourly rate for the class and that's it. And so we could most definitely discuss bringing more classes to every community in the county to help with that as well.
Michelle.
Chief, so ALS 1, I see first in town Sandow's in there, so my hometown, are they paying part of the 1.7 million, or that's all already paid through?
So that was paid, our first year was paid through Beth Israel, so the only thing they get billed is the user fee of well, right now it's $88.
That's just for that, if you guys do it, like, right now Sandown has Hampstead, and I think they, last I checked on the budget, they pay 80,000 for ambulance service out of Hampstead. So that's two separate things.
Two separate things. Like I said, the town still have to provide an
That's with
ambulance.
non-paramedic service.
Yes, no. Yeah, they don't have the high, I call it the high end, I guess. Okay.
So, and I think we've been to Sandown 8 times maybe since the first 6 months.
Okay, so appreciate that presentation. And I thought about how this is all working. And I really firmly believe that these towns need to pony up some of the money. I also understand that it's a really expensive program to implement, and that really Exeter Hospital was doing charity work. Whether they realized it or not is another discussion, but they were doing charity to all these towns by offering this service for $88 which is like a ridiculous number. It's like throwing a quarter in somebody's cup when you walk past. I would really like to see an effort to get the towns to sign on even a portion, just to get them to take responsibility that it's the town's responsibility, and it ought to be the town. I know it's not law, but every community should have a responsibility for advanced life-saving. And they need to participate. And I understand that there's roadblocks with that. I just whatever we can do to encourage the towns to participate, I think we need to. Also, I think that I think it is appropriate for us to consider putting some money towards this, because if for no other reason, the towns that already are paying for this, those residents are driving through areas that would essentially not have that. I drive through these areas all the time. My town has paramedics. I'm in Salem. And so like, we shouldn't have to pay, but I want to be covered, just like, when I'm driving through.
The only counter argument to that is
Yeah.
when everybody else drives through Salem, it's not like they're utilizing, like the flip could be said, when someone has an emergency situation in Salem, even if they live in Sandown, it's not like they're not getting covered by Salem.
Salem's gonna come out and take care of
Exactly.
it.
So like
Right.
that argument is, I'm not saying
It
it's
goes both ways.
invalid, but it works, yeah.
Yes, that's
It-
right. So when I go to Portsmouth, I get Portsmouth services.
Exactly.
Right, yeah, no,
I
absolutely.
just- It undermines that argument that every town should pay because they drive through Brentwood. And I don't mean to,
And I agree with you. I don't think that all of the towns, because a lot of the towns have put a lot of money into making sure they have the right infrastructure. And I make the same argument about dispatch, because these same towns are the ones that are using dispatch for free from the county. And I think they should pay a portion of, because we're bearing that expense. So I feel like I'm consistent in this, that I think that the towns ought to contribute something. Now, you got a big nut, and we need to get this off the ground. And there's been a culture of nobody paying. $88 is still free as far as I'm concerned with this kind of service. So I would want to do whatever we could do to help the program along one way or another.
what is the ask?
So
And-
we,
We get there, didn't we?
Trying to understand what the ask is.
the,
900,000.
So, yeah,
In staff.
we run a January to December budget. So the funding that we are coming in is like, we're good for 2026.
All the way.
but you
Oh.
need it January 1st. The problem is our budget operates, so.
Right,
that's-
so the first ask, so the other issue that we're running into is we need another vehicle in the system. The system's really busy and we're missing a lot of calls. So if the county was going to step up and help us fund this, I wanna make sure we're providing an adequate service. Cause the other thing is, it's like, you're asking for money, but now you're never available for calls.
Yeah.
That's not where we wanna be. So if you all would help, you know, with funding, what our ask would be in July of 26.
Yeah.
Because that would be a mid-year.
That's our.
That's
fiscal
your
start.
physical
Yeah.
start year.
So we're talking.
So that would be 1.8 million. And that's to provide, we would have 3 paramedic vehicles staffed. One in Stratham, one in Brentwood, and one in Plastow. And that would be pretty, I think that's gonna be pretty good coverage. Some other communities might thinking about coming on. After that, the ask in 2027 would go up a little bit, because we have 6 months of funding in 2026 already taken care of. So I'd have to add that 6 months back, and that would be 2.6 then moving forward. That's 100% of the budget. Now, what I wanna do.
2.6?
2.6. That's covered 100% of the budget. We get those fees, the user fees, and that's something else that we could look at doing, is increasing the cost of the user fees moving forward as well. That money would offset the budget. Like I said, none of this goes back to our town. We're not creating a piggy bank. So if we collected $300,000 in fees, that offsets the budget, if you will, moving forward.
Yes. The challenge just is like, we're talking 2% of the overall county, increase of 2% of the overall budget. With the
If
ask.
we took the whole thing on.
Yeah, no. Of
Are
course.
you asking us to take the whole thing
Yeah,
on?
That's what he's saying.
Well, I'm asking for whatever help you're willing to get, and then I'll find a difference, right? That's my job, is to get the funding and then figure out what I need to do moving forward.
I thought,
Go ahead.
I thought people were only looking for the additional units with staff. I didn't know
No, it would be the whole.
so you think that the money that you got for 2026 is gonna expire, and they're not gonna team back up for 2027?
That funding model is slowly running out, because it's healthcare trust funding that's been given to the state that they're reallocating for us for this program. So I met with them yesterday, and they kind of painted a picture that 2027, you better start figuring out something else, because that money's going.
I originally thought we were only gonna look for the additional, which is 900 and something thousand. But now this will end in 2026 and 27, the whole 2.6 million has to be funded.
If we increased our staffing level, if we kept it to where it is today, with 1 car in Brentwood, 1 car in Plastow, then the budget stays at 1.7 million.
So it's an extra $1 million to put a third?
975,000. That's a high estimate, because
Okay.
of, most of that's personnel. That's the highest, I don't know who we're gonna hire, so I don't know what kind of healthcare plan we're gonna take. So I have to budget for the highest healthcare plan. Once we get the employees hired, then I could readjust that number. If it's a single plan, married with family, that drastically changes the budget, and that would be for 6 employees. So even a minor change of $10,000 in that adds up pretty quick.
What can we do to facilitate getting all the managers of these towns in a row? You know, to pitch them on this whole thing and to explain why it's important that they participate.
So we've already done some of that legwork last year and the beginning of this year, and having some meetings with them. It's just getting, they want it, they want to buy into it. But like I said, for some of these smaller communities, it's a hard sell, because you look at Sandown, you look at East Kingston, you look at these really small communities and say, you're gonna be paying $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 to have a paramedic 15 times a year.
You think, and even like small town like Sandown, some of the abutment, we're on 2 years in a row of default budget. So what would ever happen if they were funding this and they went to a default? So there's things you have to find and things you can't find.
So I think once it's in the budget, they could, because it's a contract.
If they signed a contract,
Right.
They have to,
then the default budget would
Included.
include that obligation.
that would go back, right, that would go back.
So the goal is to get a contract.
Correct.
You know, so that
To that point, it's like hard to ask, and this is the challenge, right? It's like I understand that there's some like need for, I mean, there are donor towns in our county, and then there are receiving towns, like that's the way life works. And it's just a lot of the towns that are donor towns for dispatch, right? Are now gonna be asked to be donor towns for this service, and I absolutely see the value in. But, you know, when we're saying, oh, it's hard to ask Sandown to pay when, you know, $40,000.
Do you have that
It's
list?
hard.
You showed, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, please.
You showed me a list of like 6-year,
The 100%.
the 100% line.
Bring that with me. I can
Okay.
email it to
Yeah.
the three of you if you want to see that, because that really paints the picture of
What it really
what it
costs.
really cost. And
That would be helpful.
again, at the end of the day, we can't be the donor town and pay
Yeah.
2 million, right?
I agree.
So I have to make sure that the funding is secured to move forward. If the funding is not secured, we have to sunset the program. That's the only choice we have.
And that's what needs to be told
Yeah.
to all of these towns. And they need to understand that if they don't participate, they're at risk of not having that service for all the residents. And I'll tell you, I don't think people will be happy to say, by the way, no more advanced life saving, take your chances.
I wouldn't like it.
No, I wouldn't like it. I live in Salem because they have those kinds of services. I mean.
That stuff.
But maybe there is some, to the extent of, like, there's a big range between the county funding it at 100% and having some, like, contribution, some hybrid model that is primarily based on the towns utilizing the service, but a supplement from the county to sort of like subsidize or offset some of the costs. I think that model would there's some efficacy to that model. And I suspect that you're sort of saying the same thing. And so it's like, there's some balance here. We just haven't, and I think from my position, I'm like, even, we're county government, our goal is to help provide services to our community, and we do it through the nursing home, and we do it through dispatch and other ways. So this is undoubtedly of value to our community as a county as a whole, but figuring out is sort of that balance of who's utilizing the service and how do we fund in that. It's like, I just see it as like a balance between getting more town buy-in coupled with maybe helping as a county offset some of the costs, because maybe it isn't really entirely sustainable on a town by town level.
So
The gentleman has his hand raised.
Oh.
Online, I saw.
Okay, thanks. You want to go first or do you want?
no,
Chris, do you want to go ahead? I'm sorry.
Yes, hello. My name is Chris Roosevelt. I'm with the William H. Donner Foundation. I originally got involved with Chief Knutson to come up with an emergency plan after Exeter exited the business. Now, for 32 years, they provided that service at a loss at the end of $2 million a year. And the truth was that nobody had had these conversations before. So this is a new conversation, not only to the towns, but to the county. The argument that the towns or the municipal responsibility is higher than the counties is, I'd like to push back on that a little bit, in that every single member of the county deserves to have what is an essential service, and that is advanced life support, not BLS or fire department or anything, but advanced life support by trained personnel. Each person, whether they're in Portsmouth and they're driving through Newfields, or they have no coverage at all in the rural communities. This has become a national problem, the funding of the advanced life support program. So as I went through and I looked at other places, or Ogden, I sent you the email that had some private companies that had gone under who had been providing these services. The Ogden, Utah ALS system has now gone over to a county system. The Frederickson, Washington has gone over from private system to a county system. And it's because the private systems and the municipal systems are not stable. We can't provide readiness for these programs without having stability of a program. So it's the readiness issue or aspect of this service that we really want to take into account here. Each person, if we do it at this level, is going to be looking at approximately a $9, if you did it by population, essentially a $9 fee to have this ALS service available to the entire county of 360,000 plus, instead of the 101,000 that are being served right now. Doesn't matter where you are in the county, doesn't matter what's happened to you. If you need ALS, it is there for you. Our town in Newfields only used the system 9 times. We would be asking them for close to $30,000 next year in order to participate in the program. That's going to be almost impossible to sell to the towns of Newfields. If we go ahead and we do it at the county level and just address the readiness aspect, which Chief Knutson can give you the figures for, then we've established that everybody who wants it can have it at any time. And on top of that, the rural needs, which are going to be increasing over the future, especially with the shutdowns in the hospitals and the critical care units. And as we move forward, this is just going to increase. This has gotten worse and worse over the years throughout this entire nation. Everybody's looking for a way to make this work. This is the most effective level that I have seen. And I've looked at private, I've looked at municipal, and I've looked at for-profit and nonprofit models. This is a very effective way to do it. But every single person in this county deserves to be covered by ALS. And if we don't find a way to match the readiness aspect of this program, it will be impossible to provide that. And if this program falls apart, then we have to go to the private and nonprofit sectors. And that is proven to be detrimental to everybody in the United States is dealing with this problem right now. It's huge.
Chris, could I mind if I asked you a question? If the town of Newfields was told that in order the service was shutting down if they did not come up with $30,000, how would they respond? And what would they do? Would you just accept that you're in Newfield, you don't get service?
Absolutely not. And thanks for the question. The truth is that we have contracted with Newmarket for their part-time ALS service, and we have Chief Knutson's service as a backup. And that's the way it works. Now, there are other counties that have part-time paramedic services, or like Stratham, they don't have them available on weekends or things like that. But this makes it available 24/7, 365 a year for everybody. I have spoken to the selectmen about this and been working with them, and we established that the town wanted to have the ALS be part of the Chief Knutson's ALS program through warrant articles last year. As we went forward, we were looking at putting on this year with the select board. I've already spoken to them about this, about having a $30 per population, per head, a $30 tax put into the warrant articles this year. And as we went out and talked to the townspeople, all the selectmen and myself, everybody was more than happy to pay that fee. They had no problem with paying that fee. It's just what happens now is that next year there will be another election and it'll be a new town council, and we'll have to renegotiate that again. That affects the readiness of the program and the sustainability of the program.
I can see the need for some intervention of the county, but I still feel that the towns, I would be happy to help with an effort. Because right now is budget season. I know, because I'm on the budget committee in Salem. So if we're going to put something in the budget, if the towns are going to put something in the budget, even if it's not 100%, something that they would commit to, now is the time. And we need to divide and conquer. Tom, the towns are all in your, it's all your district. I've only got 2 towns in my district, Atkinson and Newton, that need the system, and Atkinson's already covered no matter what, I know. And so there's Newton, Southampton's must be going to Seabrook. I'm just looking at my personal district. So, I mean, somehow we need to really get to it. And I'll be happy to go to some of these small towns to help to make a presentation. And then if we do that, then maybe we can find, okay, so they're in the system, they're participating, Maybe the county can help with some seed money to keep the system going. Maybe there's some federal money. Maybe Chuck can pull some magic from some grant money. I don't know. I agree. And Chris, I appreciate your perspective on it. There is a need for a regional assistance on this problem.
The regional need is for the readiness of the program. The federal government for this year. Last year, I was able to work with the federal government, it was the state's discretionary funding bill in order to get some more funding for this program for 2026. This year, I went to FEMA, and FEMA is in the application status is unknown at the current time. All the federal programs that I've gone to try to get funding, it's unknown. Now nobody's answering the phone because of the shutdown. I mean, it's the same thing with municipalities, trying to get the municipalities to get on board, and the fire chiefs as well. And then all the different departments to back this up. It changes every 3 years through new election processes. If you have new town council members, I mean, it's just very, very difficult to provide that readiness and sustainability. And that's what the chief is looking for. That's what the system needs in order to make sure that our residents, our county residents, are covered to the farthest reaches of the rural to the center of Portsmouth. And that happens not only in a day-to-day basis, but on an on-call emergency basis, or in a mass casualty unit, or the things that Chief Knutson is talking about with additional personnel needed, will always be there. This is going to escalate. The needs are going to escalate in the future as these funding models, especially from the federal government, the way it's going, these models may be entirely, FEMA may not be available to us to go to get these funds anymore. We certainly can't keep going back to the state every year for congressional discretionary budgetary consideration, because they simply can't do this every year because they'll be coming from behind. So it's the readiness aspect that I'd appreciate it if the council would discuss with Chief Knutson, and to make that part of the county responsibilities. And I can definitely go to my town and meet with other towns and other areas regarding getting some monies in to offset what it is. But we would have to have a year to at least find out where that's going to be. Some of these people haven't even prepared their towns for the ask yet. So we're looking at another 2 years. We don't have 2 years. The Formella's office and the help of Janet Stevens, who's done so well for this program, those funds are going to begin to dry up. If we lose this program, we're right back where we were when Exeter quit. And then you're going to have a free-for-all with private and nonprofit entities, and the service is going to decline, and the level of care is going to decline, and there will be poor patient outcomes.
Glad you brought up FEMA. I'm going to make a phone call.
Is this something that needs to go in front of the executive committee of the delegation to ask them,
We need their opinion.
Well, I think there are many, ultimately, it's gonna come before them, because I think we need to make a decision about it, to make a decision whether we wanna put it, what and how much we wanna put into the budget. From there, then our budget goes to the delegation for ultimately, if they're gonna approve our budget, that's when it goes before them. Chief, I think one thing that has not been stated is thank you. I know that you took this on head on to try to make sure that these small towns got coverage, and you have the additional hurdle of getting the funding, doing all these things, doing all the legwork for it, and putting the infrastructure in place. And so thank you for all your efforts to help regionalize and give smaller communities this opportunity. Again, I think that there's, this is good discussion for today. I don't think this is going to be an answer that's going to happen today.
No.
And I think it's like, I think it's, if you could, like, in terms of like, where do we go from here, right? You said you had some data for us that you're back at the shop, or you might have shared with Commissioner Godu. If you could share that with everyone, that would be a helpful starting point. It would be helpful to analyze the numbers, and then hopefully from this, you know, what I think then Commissioner Godu's point, if towns are, I mean, it's budget season, if I assume that there's been you've had discussions with towns to try to get this into the budget right now, like people are trying now. You know, it'd be helpful to understand where that stands. I think.
The hurdle I run into is what's that number? And what happens when the town drops out? And they're like, you know, we just can't afford it. You know, you talk like with Newfields and they only use us like 9 times. And they're like, it's not worth it. We're not gonna pay. And now we drop out and that $40,000-$50,000 has to be redistributed. And another town's like, well, now I'm at the edge of, well, we're just gonna hire our own paramedics and do it ourselves. So they drop out. Now that money's, you know, and so that's the biggest hurdle that I'm running into is a system becoming fractured of either communities dropping out altogether, or once their budget gets built up to be part of this system, they're like, well, we're just gonna hire our own paramedics and we're just gonna focus on our town. And now that impacts the system.
And the other ones have to pay the difference.
The other ones have to continually making up the difference. So that's my biggest hurdle is what's that number? And then the other hurdle I ran into with this year is what if people pay that aren't part of the system but need a service so often? So like if the town of Chester wants to call us and they've not had to pay any money at all, what do we charge them when we go help them? And they're like, well, it's mutual aid. Well, it's not mutual because are they sending us a paramedic when we need it? So it's all those hurdles.
Not mutual aid.
It's all, I don't think it is. And that's all those hurdles I have with the individual towns paying, and then it's our service, it's this, it's that. It's really becoming comprehensive and trying to figure out the funding model that's sustainable.
I know, and it's challenging even from our end, because we can propose a budget and the delegation can say, we don't want this program. And so that's not gonna happen till, you know, it's like, I mean, for the same point, it's like, I think that puts you in a vulnerable position to rely on the county to fully fund, right? Because if our budget doesn't pass, then what? So I think it's like, they could, you know, the ask is 2% of the overall county budget. The delegation may say, we are going up too much, we're not including this program, like this is on the towns. And then, you know, that's above our pay grade. And so anyway, I think, you know, I'm so glad you started the dialogue and for all your efforts. And I think it's just going to be ongoing, sort of as much data collection as we can get and continued dialogue.
I hate to say it, but the reality might not strike these towns until they're without the service. And then they go a year and they don't have it, like, well, now and they have not experienced that. They've experienced charity. It's kind of like when your kid leaves the house, you know, all of a sudden they realize, oh, I have to pay for my cell phone, or, you know, whatever, silly. But because they're used to getting it for free. Yeah. So I don't know. I would be happy to go to some of the towns with you and see what we can do to convince. Might give me, since I'm so strong about trying to get the towns to put in, maybe I'll see what some of those objections are a little bit clearer. And I think this is a service to the whole county to make this happen. And I just firmly believe that these towns need to come up with some cash. Maybe we can be the relief. You say, if we got 10 towns and one town, you know, drops out, maybe that's where the county comes in and covers that extra so that you do have, you know, continuing service, and then we work towards fixing it. I think that we should play a role. We should play a role. It's a very difficult sell that we would come up with $2.6 million or anything close to that, when most of the towns are already, or a lot of the towns are already spending lots of money towards their own service. So I'm happy to participate. And I'm sure Tom would too.
I would too.
We don't have too many, but.
But
Chief, you and I talked this morning about different things in small towns. like your town to vote no to go reevaluate your town, you have to. You have to do it every 5 years, even in my town, over all the years I was a selectman, we had highway block grant money, free money from the state. And I get 195 people from the town of Sandown that vote no for free money with a 0 impact per thousand. And I get 193 people that vote no. They just go in there and they just.
They just vote no on everything. Yeah.
So I mean, it's hard,
Everybody wants the services, no one wants to pay for them.
it's hard to educate
Exactly.
people that aren't there.
I know,
That's the problem.
Right.
so,
you know?
Okay, so I think, should we continue?
Yeah.
the dialogue, and we may, if you're willing to come back to answer some questions.
Oh, absolutely.
Appreciate it. It's nice to make this, we like you, it's nice for you to come here and be part of the public dialogue, so if people wanna watch it, hopefully other people view it, and, you know, it's great education for our community just to see the value of this and that, you know, this value does come with some costs associated to make it, to give the service, so thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Pete.
I have one small report that I failed to bring up. I met with.
Idea how to get out of here.
I'll figure it out.
I'm just thinking, I took him everywhere. He's gonna, we'll see you probably in a couple hours in the hall.
To the cafe.
He'll be back.
I spoke with Jessica at Silverthorne. Their issue is similar to this. They're looking for money too. This is a program that we've been supporting, and right now we're supporting it through the grant that is finishing up at the end of January. And they're looking for some assistance to keep the program rolling. And I had a discussion with her, and they're going to put a proposal to us for additional funds. That would, because they got no coverage, they have to tell people we don't have drivers as of January first.
So it's primarily transportation.
The
for
drivers.
The driver, to pay for the drivers beginning from January first to the end of the fiscal year.
Right, they've
that-
got the vehicles, they need the salaries for the drivers.
And did she give you an estimate about?
The nut is around 100,000. They're right now, they're not charging people at all. I suggested that she charge a modest amount that would not put it unaffordable for the folks, the members that are using it. And I think next week, or no, the 23rd, I told her, because we're not gonna meet on the 16th. Before the 23rd, she's gonna have a proposal for all of us to, to consider of what they're looking for. Is that our?
Oh, yeah, no, it's so challenging with like our budget set to, and so I was trying to think about, like, I mean, I think the transportation issue is so valuable, but I would, and sustaining these programs are really important. So I was like, my pea brain is just thinking about how much, we got our how adult medical day payout report. And so I was trying to think about, how much are we, like, we haven't expended, we could maybe pull a little bit
How much?
here.
Right.
We've done.
Yeah, we did special
5,000.
yeah, so we might be able to, I mean, I'm sure that's not gonna carry the day, but I was just trying to think about as you're talking.
Yeah, no, that's just more up and coming. This is.
I'm nervous of it when you say the fact of 100,000, because then it could have a trickle effect up in Manchester. They could sue the request too, and they could
But
ask for it. So
I think
just-
that
I
the
wanna help.
difference is that Silverthorne took on the pilot program for delayed care in nursing homes and that's what we really set up the transportation element as part of that pilot program. I think, and because the pilot program is sunsetting.
Right.
In terms of funding, that's how I understand it. Is that,
If another one.
Yeah,
opens-
no, that's accurate.
so I don't think that Easter seals could have, a very colorful.
They wouldn't have the same.
Colorful argument with respect to this.
In a real world, if another one opened, it would cut down on their driving and cut down on their transportation, if we could get another one open, but. it doesn't
Another,
look
oh
like-
yeah, another.
Doesn't look like it's profitable,
Right.
if somebody would do it. You
Okay,
So
thank
that's
you.
just an FYI for it than anything else.
Next we have the use of facilities agreement and amphitheater. So,
We reviewed this, I don't know, a year ago and came up with, a good agreement. And it was put together specifically in mind that we were going to have another, facility. And I think that the rules are all the same. We just need to add something into this that indicates which facility they're asking. And and possibly, we don't even want to offer the Hilton any longer, because that is coming into the nursing home. And I mean, we've managed it, but if we don't have to be interrupted in the you know, the nursing homes and the residents here, then it might be good to pull that off. I'm not sure what the unique newness of the new auditorium, what other additional things need to be placed in this agreement. But I think the agreement is pretty much is just adding in, you know, the name of the facility. I thought it was fairly complete.
I would just say that, the building is gonna be locked at 5 o'clock, so who is gonna be, you know, say for instance, Republican or Democratic parties wanna take it. Who's gonna go over there and open that door? Who's gonna
Somebody's
close it?
gonna
Who's
have to work the
clean it?
door. Yeah, somebody's gonna have to work the door.
I didn't hear you.
Someone will have to work the door.
Right.
I mean, quite often you have someone from IT to do the AV stuff, but I don't see Brian letting people in the door.
I think
I'd rather-
that, yeah, to that point, to the extent that I think we need, so there's a couple things that I found. One, there's a prohibition against firearms. I think we have to put in a caveat of law enforcement notwithstanding. Because the sheriff's department could be on duty attending, you know, a meeting, and it's like, wait, we have to, so I think that's an easy. The other thing is, I think that we need to differentiate between, like, that there's an additional fee for off hours to compensate the individual who is gonna work the door. So if it's like, you know,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I think we have to deal with that, but like, if not, if, you know, if use of space is after, you know, normal business hours, whatever, after, you know, 4:30 PM. I mean, if, or ends after 4 PM, that
Most
there's
of them
a,
would be.
you know, and I don't know what the number is, but we say there's like an additional $250 fee for use of the space because, you know, or whatever, we put in per hour fee from after 4 o'clock, whatever is being utilized, because someone has to man the door, you know, it's gonna be overtime for that and lock it up, and there's gonna be overtime for someone and we need to compensate. So maybe it's,
Glad that you brought up the firearms thing. I would be opposed to having a rule that people were not allowed to bring firearms into our new building.
The public. You're saying the public?
Public.
That creates a whole.
I don't think we should, I mean, we can legitimately say no firearms in the building, and I think we should maintain that. And I suspect if we reach out to the county attorney's office or Kathy Stacy, maybe she can weigh in, like, I don't think we are not gonna have the level of security that we want people bringing firearms in. I just think we can, but I do think we need to carve out for law enforcement. But Kathy, did you?
I don't
We
ever
made
want,
this-
yeah, I don't want to see people being allowed to bring in a firearm. You gotta remember, there's no security for my office, and we're gonna be the ones dealing with the majority of the public. That's something waiting to happen. I mean, granted, you know, people, I mean, obviously, they can sneak it in because there's no security at the front door. But to just openly say any, you know, there's no restriction, I don't go with that, Steve, I'm sorry.
There's firearms at the State House. If you're a state rep and you carry, there's no restriction
What about
going
the
into the
public?
State House. Doesn't matter if you're state rep or not, I can walk in there with a gun in
Yeah,
my pocket that nobody knows
but
about.
they do have security.
They have
No, they
security.
don't.
Yes, they do
Carry
now.
front door,
Yes, they do. Yes,
At
they
the
do.
front door at the State House?
Yeah. right
See-
here around the corner.
State
And
House.
no one's around.
And guess what? They're implementing all kinds of new rules about even people up watching them in session. It's gonna be closed. It's gonna be closed. Because they're worried about security, Steve. And I went to a meeting yesterday and they talked extensively about it. Extensively about the changes that are gonna be happening in Concord.
Well, this will be an interesting discussion. I have more to think about and
Okay.
more to learn.
The other thing is, we have a provision in here that says a certificate of insurance with a minimum of $1 million of liability coverage for use of the premises. Now, that was in the Hilton. I don't think we enforce that, but I think that most of these nonprofit groups and small groups, I think only the Republicans, the Rockingham County Republicans utilize the Hilton now. But I don't think that they have $1 million, we're getting a COI of $1 million. So
They do.
they do?
Yeah.
It's nice.
There was an overall, blanket that covers them for all events
So-
like that.
I think it could serve as a deterrent for some of the community members. And I think, I think what we could do in the absence of that, have an additional indemnification clause that is like beef up the indemnification or have people sign waivers or something to that effect. I don't know. What do you guys think? And also anybody in the, anyone, it's not just a commissioner's discussion. If you guys have ideas or thoughts about 1, personnel, 2, like some of the maintenance issues, and 3, some of the liability,
It's a good question. So if I wanted to do a training house over there, I brought out outside speaker and I bring in outside people. Would we automatically county cover that, or is that something? I don't know how that works, just asking a
I
question.
think that your speaker would, I think if the county is using the space, right? Then we're on the hook. However, though, like, depending on the content of the speaker might say, I presume it's not really gonna be a huge issue, but the one thing is there an indemnification that the speaker should give for the content of if the speaker comes in and says, you should invest in X stock, everybody here, invest in X stock. And the speaker is insider trading and shorts the stock, and we brought that speaker in, then could everybody invests and loses a boatload of money, could they file a claim against the county? Probably. And I know it's like, that is a extremely far-fetched.
Thanks for the Primex question. Did they bring speakers in their own time? Did they do indemnification and I'm just sort of.
No, I know, I agree. I think it's a perfect Primex question, which is like, what are we doing for, I'm just raising one concern about that aspect of indemnification for the content of their presentation. I know we had an issue once where there was someone who came in to talk about insurance. I don't know, there was something.
Yes, there
Insurance
was. over
plans
that
at the
side of the house.
DOC.
Oh, right.
They were an
right.
independent person. Yes.
We just wanna. They're all good considerations. Do you guys have additional thoughts on I think the next. Do you
As
think?
far as all of the prohibited items you're talking to,
Oh, I was just talking in general about
I think it's gonna be hard to maintain who comes in and who comes in. We don't have a metal detector. I'm
Should
looking
we
at
be getting a
these
metal detector?
who's gonna maintain it? So the guy goes off and the buzzer goes off, who's coming out, Pat?
Can we
Me?
hire the
Who's
bailiffs
gonna go
to,
say, "Oh, that buzzer went off, what do you got on you?"
No,
But they're for the court.
They're state.
Yeah.
Oh, in this state anyway.
I'm just looking at alcohol beverages, nobody should be walking on with a Bud Light.
Yeah, but those are easy.
But I
The
think-
weapons is gonna be a problem. You're gonna tell somebody, I see them coming in to register a car and sitting down with a big gun on the side of their hip, and I think,
It's New Hampshire.
I think it's crazy, but that's what they do. That's what they do. I
Yeah.
think there's a time, place where, I don't think registering the car, you need to bring a gun to register a car, but I don't, so. But you're not gonna be able to tell, people are gonna come in and there's no way you're gonna know if they got one or you don't, so it's on here, it's prohibited,
Well,
but who's gonna police it?
people sign you have to sign like, the one way to handle it is like all attendees have to sign a waiver.
Every person that comes in.
Yeah.
So for instance, a public hearing, that's gonna be, who's gonna have a.
You know, the more that we think about this and these issues, I think these are all good issues to discuss.
We need.
I think we need to go status quo with the Hilton for the moment and really reevaluate
Yeah.
what it is, because you're right, we have lots of security questions. We have metal detector questions, firearm questions in the new building, and that's just not for the public having somebody renting the hall or, you know, utilizing the hall after hours. That's all day long. You know, when somebody walks into the building. I mean, this is New Hampshire. We are open carry. No, we're constitutional carry, which means it's essentially uninfringed. So it's just, I'm not an expert in this area, and I'm going to consult with some folks to get more information.
What we need to do is, and I'd be happy to do, draft a list of questions in conjunction with this and send it to Primex with our
Yeah.
contract to say, hey, could we evaluate it? Or do you have suggestions on where we can beef up? You know, what like obligations regarding indemnification waivers, some of these things that would protect the county on these fronts. So I think that's like, let's get some data back from Primex. And that's when we get that data back from Primex, then we can go, we'll be operating in a better sphere to deal with the differences between, you know, in this new building.
Get some input from the sheriff and the major.
They have the
to-
liability coverage, so they're gonna, anything that we have happen over there,
Right.
they're on the hook for it, so they'll probably be telling you what they would cover and not, so I agree, that's.
Do you have, or perhaps it's time to think about what kind of guidance you might have for departments who want to use the amphitheater? One of the department heads told me yesterday, I have a meeting in there in November, bringing in, police chiefs from around the county. Just different things like
Great.
that. I think people are already looking at it as a remarkable resource. I don't even know where to point them.
Right.
Yeah,
You know, should I have?
Yeah, we're not
talk to
prepared yet.
Layla or?
Yeah, I mean, I think use of space should certainly be talking to Layla ASAP. I mean, I think this started because I was like, hey, can I use it?
Yeah, no, I mean, once people see that auditorium, more people are gonna wanna use it.
Yeah, so we need to calendar it. Layla, do you feel comfortable being like the gatekeeper to scheduling for that? If
say
you,
no, Layla, do yourself a favor, say no.
still has to come forward to us, but I think it's different for department heads. If it's, I mean, I feel like our position should be, you know, we're gonna trust in department heads to schedule what they think is appropriate. We need to put the parameters on, you know, to Jason's point about do indemnification or what the has in for these types of meetings. And it's a good concern, but that we should, I mean, if department heads, if it's not, you know, reserved and department heads want to use it, like, this is a great resource.
So this brings us to, who's gonna coordinate? Is Layla all of a sudden gonna be the,
It was gonna be me,
Yeah.
okay, you know, just to keep the
Yeah.
calendar?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's
So-
just not too formal, but
Right.
Can I ask something? So does the amphitheater, have all the conference rooms been named that are open spaces conference room? Or do they
There are
have,
public conference rooms, up on the East floor. I believe they have like conference room A, conference room B.
what about the first?
The
one you
sign
walk
shows,
in?
I.
Layla, I think that you'd be on for the conference room as you first walk in, as well as the auditorium.
So we would know what we're asking. Oh, Layla, we'd like to reserve conference room, fishbowl or whatever. Yeah, just whatever you
Fish-
decide
yeah,
to
it's-
call.
It's a cloudy fishbowl down.
Thank you.
I believe on the sign it's called the lobby conference room.
Okay, great.
And then there's it's really.
I just don't know what is available to be used for conferences and what we have to stay away from, so
Sure.
she would know.
Yeah, and
Thank
then
you, Lynn.
I actually have myself some notes to talk to Robin about it. Maybe a shared calendar if people want to use. Pat thinks that she may want to use one of the larger conference rooms up on the third level because she has little ones with maybe 6 chairs. But the conference rooms up top that are next to the patio are a bit larger. I'd say they're 10 or 12 seats. So she was talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, like a master
Maybe a
calendar
shared
where we can
calendar is
just share
something,
calendar.
Yeah.
I mean, we should be able to facilitate that through Outlook where people can
I
just
would think,
block
yeah.
off
I'm
and
gonna check
reserve.
So-
Yeah,
with Robin.
it's a really
For the 2 downstairs, we should send to you.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
great. Thank you.
Add that to your job description, ask for a stipend.
All right. The next, we have a travel and training request.
Commissioner Stefan.
Yeah.
Motion two, right?
I think we can, why don't we do motion one without, Commissioner Godu here, and I think that will be okay.
Travel and training request for the Department of Corrections off the table.
Second, Commissioner Tombrello,
Yes.
and I'm yes. So, let's wait for Commissioner Godu for the next motion.
I was happy last night. The Bruins won, the Celtics won, and the Yankees lost. It's like a trifecta for me. Marvel's Yankees.
Then we moved them when they got, we go back and to my head's watch. It was there.
Did you recess?
We didn't, we just were paused, but Commissioner Godu, we did move to bring the, DOC travel and training request off the table, and we approved it.
Okay.
Okay,
I don't know how
I
it
didn't want to
works.
make any substantive motion in your absence.
Motion, you ready?
Yeah.
Motion to approve a travel and training request of two Department of Corrections employees, JH and SN, to attend the Legal and Liability Risk Management Institute Conference to be held in Las Vegas, Nevada, on Tuesday, October 2nd, 2025, through Thursday, December 4th, 2025, at an estimated cost of $4,275.04 as recommended by the superintendent.
Second.
Just a point of clarification, I think you said October, it's December second
Okay.
through December, it's fine, it's not a big deal, I just was making a point of clarification that they're not going to make
For a month.
2 months.
If you go
At
for
$4,000?
stay in Vegas for 4,000, you did pretty well.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll be on the street. I
That's
guess.
what I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay. Any, did you second that?
Yes.
Okay, any discussion?
I just see they got the airfare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that got put in,
clarified.
into
Yeah,
line,
very
and
great.
I was pleased to see that. I think it's
Got them out
good.
of first class.
On the motion, Commissioner Godu?
Yes.
Commissioner Tombrello?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have line item transfers, 2 for approval.
Motion to approve the line item transfer request dated October 6th, 2025, in the amount of $446,000. Transferring from intermediate nursing care NF to capital improvements as recommended by the senior director of finance.
Second.
Discussion?
I guess I would just ask, and I did talk to you this morning, I wanted to, so we're taking or transferring that money, how come we're not using money that's left over in
Contingency?
the building money?
Because we have been,
Huh?
using that
No,
money.
no, we haven't, but we have the other money.
There's also, it's not just for the new building, we have other cost increases that are gone for other projects. For the water main project, for the state DOT
Exactly.
requiring
Yeah,
other
so
things are
just-
beyond scope. The additional Nova stuff was all beyond scope as well. As far as, some of the other water related items, they're going above, initially approved, ARPA projects. And again, keep in mind that, the building itself is under budget, but the change orders are outside of the GMP. They're outside of the GMP, so what was scheduled and within scope is under budget, but the change order stuff is proved it's outside the GMP. We have to make sure all those items are covered too, so.
And so you're balancing that off with this?
Yes.
Okay.
But this was money that we have this extra nearly $500,000 that we weren't expecting coming out of
Yes,
It's a no, I just wondered
the,
why.
yeah, categorical
Why, that's good.
assistance, right? So,
Okay, I'm good.
on the motion, Commissioner Tombrello.
Yes.
Commissioner Godu.
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Thank you.
We have a further motion.
A motion to approve the line item transfer request dated October 6, 2025, in the amount of $16,435 transferring from legal to courthouse lease payments as recommended by the senior director of finance.
Second.
Discussion?
I guess check with
Can
you.
you give us an explanation on that?
We need to pay November rent. Cause we're not gonna be, we are only paid through.
Oh, wait,
October.
Oh,
And because
Yeah.
of everything with the antenna, the movement isn't gonna happen till November, so we need to pay for November rent.
okay.
Yeah, so
think
during budget
Japan
time, the
takes-
belief was we were gonna hopefully be moving in September. And so I budgeted one extra month.
You would think
And
of,
now it's gonna be November.
you would
so-
think out of all the years of aggravation, they would have thrown in a month, right? For pain and suffering.
We could make a case.
Wait, do we have to pay a security deposit to the state? Commissioner Godu,
Yes,
Commissioner Tombrello, and I vote yes.
Thank you.
We have a general leave request, Human Resource.
Make a motion to approve a general leave request from Environmental Services Employee HD for the county portion of the benefits that continue through the period of October 3rd, 2025 through November 3rd, 2025, as recommended by the Senior Director of Long-Term Care and the Senior Director of Youth. Should that be right?
Senior Director of
Oh, yeah,
Long-
they fall on that. Yeah, that's what I said.
Great,
second.
discussion? It sounds like there's a max update in
I put a footnote
December.
there,
So,
Yeah,
okay.
and I'll watch it.
Yep,
Coming
okay.
into November.
Anything? Commissioner Tombrello,
Yes.
Commissioner Godu?
Yes,
And I vote yes. Next, we have the UNH Tuition Discount Partnership Program and MOU.
I'll make a motion to approve the partnership program with the University of New Hampshire and authorize the chair to sign a memorandum of understanding as recommended by the Senior Director of Human Resources.
second.
Discussion? We talked about this last week, before the MOU came before us, it's just an opportunity to partner with them. There's not a lot of obligation except for some marketing, and I think, seems like a good thing. On the motion, Commissioner Tombrello,
Yes.
Commissioner Godu?
Yes,
I vote yes. Finally, department head update. We'll start in Zoom land. Kathy, do you want to take it away?
Hang on.
Oh, sorry. I should have given you forewarning. Layla, my apologies.
Good afternoon. Couple of things. I want to give a shout out to Martha. My staff had their flu shots. She did a fantastic job, as always. And as well as I want to give a shout out to Allison. I was a little bit, confused about the gym over at the new building because when we looked at it last week, it looks like a facility for just men. And it's all weights and just stuff that really I know that my staff wouldn't be using. And I want to thank Allison because she said she's going to move over an elliptical and a treadmill so that other staff can utilize that gym. So thank you, Allison. I appreciate that. With regards to NHAC, I'm sure you all know the rooms are booked at the hotel. So if you haven't booked, I don't know where you're going to go. But the other thing you should know is I did attend a session yesterday on a retained bill, and during that hearing, it goes back to what I said to Commissioner Godu about security, and they have a joint facilities group that is meeting and has been meeting. It's all non-public with regard to the security in the State House and moving forward. It's kind of interesting what they're talking about. So just so that you know, I did go up to testify on the lobbying bill, but they turned around and they recessed it. The representative from Turcotte from Stratford County is rewriting the bill, so we'll see what happens with that. I am going to be testifying next week before the joint committee on reducing SAUs in the state. And what they are proposing and what they want to do is make the counties responsible and hire a superintendent of schools for every school in the county. So that we would be creating a new department and the commissioners would be, anyway, I am going to be obviously going up there to oppose that. But we are told that there is going to be a late bill presented by Representative Layton out of Derry, because she wants to get rid of all these SAUs and have, 10 statewide superintendents. So I just wanted you to know that so that you're aware. My plan for this department, hoping that we are moving actually in November, is to move the week of November 16th, because obviously the beginning of the month is too busy. The second week of the month, we're at the conference, and the fourth week of the month is Thanksgiving. So I want to make sure I give the public ample time to schedule whatever they need to schedule, because if my facility is closed, obviously real estate has to be put off. So working on that, also working with Robin and Jude with regards to logistics about how quickly I can get my staff onto the service so that they could be doing work. But the issue with that is I can't be doing e-files if I can't have people coming in the front door to record. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure out, because we did it during COVID. So we'll figure out the best case scenario so that we can accommodate. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was you guys were discussing conference rooms. And I know there's a lot of conference rooms up on my floor, which I assume, I want them to be locked because I don't want free access by the public to all these conference rooms. But if people want to schedule them, I would prefer them to be scheduled through my office, anything that's on my floor. And so that we can, obviously they're free to whomever wants, but just so that we know who's there and we can, accommodate whatever needs to be done. And also to make sure that if people use them, they leave them in the condition they were before they got there. Because we're not going to be doing cleanup, okay? And that's what happens here with people doing real estate closings. We're not responsible, but the state complains about it all the time because, people aren't always diligent in cleaning up after themselves. So other than that, that's my report. So thank you.
Thanks,
Kathy, could I ask one question?
Sure.
Which committee was dealing with security at the State House?
It's a joint facilities committee. It's a special committee, and it's made up of only members of the House and Senate. And you can look.
Do you
it
have
up
some names?
I know that leadership. There's people from leadership on it. It's not Sherm, and I think the gentleman from the Dems is Wilhelm. But there's several members. But they were talking about it yesterday. They didn't want to say too much. The clerk from the House was in this meeting with us that I was at, and he was, explaining to them that not too much was supposed to be said. I was on legislative administration, and they were asking all kinds of questions. And he was like, "Listen, this isn't the place. This isn't the forum. It isn't to be done in public. But these things are all coming up." And there was a discussion by one of the members with regards to the public coming into their sessions, and it was said that it's probably not going to be happening, just because it's all about security. They are concerned, they are worried, but they also said that they have doubled and tripled the amount of security, and most of the time, people like us have no idea who in that building is security, but there's a lot of security at the LOB, now up at Granite Place and at the State House. So, and it's all state police undercover.
Well, I'm hoping to have a little conversation with somebody that's involved in that to understand what they're doing there, because that's relative to what we're doing here.
Sure. So my suggestion would be to call Chris Vetter. He's the head of security for the State House and the LOB. Used to be state trooper. He's in charge of security for up there. So I'm sure he can answer any questions you might have.
Excellent. Thank you, Kathy.
Okay. And you know what? And with that, I'm just the discussion about the fire safety. I think that and I'm putting on my hat as the chairman of the Salem Town Council. I can tell you that that's going to be a hard sell, and I really think it's important that that every community knows if the county is planning on doing it, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing, a good thing, or anything. The communities need to know what's going on. They need to know where the tax dollars are going. And Steve, you should know this because my board last night told all the special, how you have non-county specials? We told them all to put their stuff on a warrant because we want the people to vote for it separately. We don't want it part of the budget. So people can choose what they want. So
I did
say,
hear that, and and thank you, good move.
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Kendra.
Hi, everyone. Great. I'm here on behalf of Chantel Draconin. Census over in long-term care is 132 today, and then assisted living is at 47. We have officially ended our COVID outbreak as of midnight last night in the nursing home on B1. That's a huge testament to Brandy Goslin, our infection preventionist, and Diane Lambert and Bonnie Morgan, who are both unit managers. We were able to contain it to one floor and no other floors were affected at all. So a huge shout out to them and also all the floor staff on that unit for making sure that COVID outbreak was contained. And we don't really have anything else to report.
Thank
Other
you.
than that,
Thank you, Kendra. That was efficient.
You're saying you want to come every week?
We're gonna have to have a conversation with Chantel. Maybe she needs to communicate with you how to deliver a report.
Allison, you want to go to?
Yeah, just so you know, the scarecrows are up. Thank you, everybody that participated. A flyer is gonna go out electronically and ask you to post. It's gonna be voting by QR code. And then we'll be working with assisted living so that they can vote and some of the other 10 with his group for the long-term care so they can vote. As far as the gym goes, we budgeted in FY 24, 25, and 26. We actually utilized funds from the Cigna each of those years and pre-bought equipment that we had been given a list from as it had been sourced by the sheriff's office. And we were grateful the Cigna funds approved all of that and we were able to get it in. So there was a request for some other equipment that came in after the fact just recently. While I did already use a portion of those funds for any of the equipment that would have been on a warranty. I had already purchased that in the FY 26 Cigna monies, and we're just putting it through the warrant this week, for next week. But what I would say is, they are looking for a couple of items, that we might have in our gym right here. And so we have 2 of one item and 1 of one. But I feel like they're under a maintenance contract. We had them in there this summer. They're in good condition and they still remain on that. I think it would be prudent to move those over. This gym, I've held off for 4 or 5 years of replacing it. Sometimes you'll take a piece out that hasn't been utilized for a period of time where it's kind of worn and you want to put something in and different. And what I thought is I would ask for a survey of the staff of what other piece of equipment they would like to see, because they're the ones that are using it and they may have ideas.
Stone.
So no, we'll give them a list of a few things as some items and see if any of those. And then I think it would be good to put that open space, a new piece of equipment in there. So it's just kind of to keep a rotation in. But I think I sent that out to Deputy Eagle? Yep, and I sent it out to to Chris Bashar and the sheriff, an email. I copied Jude on it because it came up this week. And I asked them if that would be amenable to them. I think it meets all the needs. We're not going into utilizing any more funds at the moment. But I can also track where I am for the balance of the money after I utilize some initiatives that we're thinking of rolling out. That if there is any money and it is another piece of equipment that they need, it may be, I ask them for pricing so I know. So I can keep my eye on that as I'm rolling out the balance of our funds for Cigna from now until June across the county for initiatives. And if we're coming under budget for that, I have to use those. I can maybe go forward and do that. And I think that might be a good resolution for everybody if
Sounds great.
so that was that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm working on I haven't told Chantel yet, so I want to she's not here today, but I wanted to make her aware of it and I'll connect with her because I don't want anyone in this facility going in and saying, oh my gosh, what happened to that piece of equipment? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I
I mean,
just want to have that
Peter,
conversation and we'll communicate that out. The electronic management system document management system,
Power Gamut.
we are working very hard with the vendor, Square 9, on the language that was in the Primex recommendations and in the attorney's recommendations. We've gone back and forth. We have two items that we're still kind of going back and forth on, but I may come back for comment from the board on one of the relative things if we can't come to an agreement legal wise. I just want to kind of bring it back to the board for a more thoughtful discussion with you on what direction I should go in. But we're working hard on that. I was hoping it was gonna be resolved a little bit sooner, but I now have another week because it's accounts payable only next week, so it gives me a little breathing room to try to keep moving forward. But that's all I have, and thank you. Oh, years of service, we've put the menu order, the accounts in, we're locked in, and now we're just prepping for some of the other stuff. So we're really excited. The group next door is excited about moving forward with that. So thank you.
Thank you.
The
Yes.
folder folds? Oh, yeah.
No,
we
she's
should
gonna-
take that. I'm sorry, sidebar. We'll talk.
Somebody understand.
Yeah. thank you.
Jude?
Good afternoon. All's well in facilities. We're busy as usual. Down in the house, we're working on cycling our heat pumps, making sure everything's ready for the season. We have a lot of lead lag situations. So take one out, make sure it's in good shape so that we're good going forward. Doing a lot of PM work down at the jail in the HVAC equipment. There's a lot going on down at the jail too, actually. Yeah, we're very busy. As far as the new building goes, we are hopeful of applying for a temporary certificate of occupancy for November 1st. They'll only be good for 60 days. The ADA signage is scheduled to go up next week. We're getting close when we're talking about scheduling a lot, conference rooms. But, as far as the BDA goes, I think the final change order antenna for the fire alarm system ended up being 108,000, right about what we expected.
That's because
It
even
is
though,
going to add time for Harvey because they'll be here longer, but they've agreed to build the 4x4 2-hour thing, the chase all the way down without charging us for that. So they're kind of picking up that for us. They've been installing the clocks for us. They've got putting up the all the stuff for the jail, sharps containers and stuff like that in DOC. 50 some odd, 50, 60 TV brackets, so all the televisions will be going up. So they're still staying pretty busy in there. Training is ongoing with my folks. The card access and building automation stuff is a couple of weeks out. And I am going to talk to the movers this afternoon to see if we can stage it 1 week, then another week, then another week. The sheriff's department. Kevin is definitely the 17th. The sheriff has some concerns about when people are gonna be on vacation and stuff like that, so I'll work that out between Pat and the sheriff. Other than that, I did want to tell you, I got a call this morning from Brentwood Fire Department telling me that Fire Chief Joe Bird, who's been with us for literally decades, first as a firefighter and now as a chief, he's always been a great friend to Rockingham County. He always comes out and helps us to evaluate code and to make sure that everything's being done properly. He's retiring. And they're gonna give him a ride home on the 30th. So he'll be going past the nursing home in the truck on the 30th, and he, made a specific call, the young man who called, to invite anybody that might want to come out and wave goodbye to him, that it would really mean a lot to him. So I let Elaine know upstairs, and I wanted to make sure everybody knew on the 30th around noon.
Okay.
So just so we.
Good to know.
Yeah,
Thank
say
you.
thank you and
Yeah.
goodbye, chief.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
He's actually a good guy. I worked
He's
with him
terrific.
30 or 40 years ago. The old days, worked for a asbestos company and he was the fire. So you go in and remove the asbestos, that's why this morning, and he would come in and encapsulate it with fire retardant, and then he becomes the chief. So I saw him the first time here years and years ago. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm the fire chief." I said, "Come on, come on." So it's nice. He's actually a good guy. I have one question for you. On the 108,000 unforeseen, are we gonna use contingency money on that? We had,
It's gonna be part of the transfer that Chuck talked about, because it is outside of the,
Scope of the,
exactly.
It's
So
gonna be
that
change
is
order. It's a
unforeseen.
change.
It is
another
a change order.
and then I just, what is the timeline for the installation of the
I
actual
don't have that
antenna?
yet.
Okay,
That's what
because
we're
I'm
waiting for.
just like, if we're getting our CO for November
Absolutely.
1st and the
Right.
part's not coming into January 3rd, we have
Right.
problems.
I don't think that the temporary permit is contingent on that. The New Hampshire State Fire Marshal is willing to issue us a permit. Brentwood has the issue with it, and
Okay.
Brentwood is willing to let the state take the responsibility, as I understood it. But
But
I
if
think
this-
we're ready to go forward on it now.
Yes, I was just saying if we can only get a temp
Yep,
for 60 days.
Right.
And I assume that the final is contingent upon that. Or no, it's
I
not.
don't think
Okay,
so,
sorry.
no.
That's
Yeah,
what I
I'm
didn't
just saying,
understand.
realistically, they would say, if we said to them it's gonna be done on a certain
Right.
date, they could extend it
I would imagine,
by
yes.
looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
initially it comes in at 60 days.
Okay, that's fine.
But we can't move in without it. so
Yeah, yes, we need to get it for
We
November
do,
first.
yes.
The question is, are we gonna be fairly done by
They
then?
absolutely know the timeline
Yeah.
very well,
Okay.
so, yeah.
Should not be. Thank you.
And most of it is contractors that we're already working with, Longship's is the electrical, Harvey's gonna be doing all the infrastructure, so.
Should be.
Longship said they had most of the cabling on hand,
Correct.
so I think a lot of it will just be, running it, doing all the programming for the antennas and everything.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason?
Let's see. Let's go back to what Kathy said about the superintendents, as I sit on the school board, School Board Association, Superintendent Association, they'll be down there testifying too against it. It'd be a real mess if you only had 10 superintendents for everything that goes on with millions of dollars and everything else. If you had this county had to take on the ownership of some of that stuff, stuff that I have to deal with, your headaches will go through the roof.
But also both the cost as well as like the school
Administrative.
district, the administrative cost, but also like every school district has separate and distinct needs based on their local population. So to try to regionalize that to countywide is.
What the state did do was, they did put a grant out for those districts that want to combine SAUs. Like we're one of them, we're looking to combine 3 schools, 1 SAU, so that is out there to consolidate, try to save some money, they think. And people believe you save a lot of money by doing what they wanna do, it's not the cost savings they think. So, but just throw it out there. We're at 174 today. We are very close, with Central Square going live, I should say, our training, and next week after, we're doing live training. Train the trainers how to use the whole system, we go fully live in, just before December. So we're looking forward to that, we're still working on bugs, but this is getting rid of our old jail management system. This is the same system the sheriff's department already gone live with, so it will be great.
Well, a few kinks in the,
There's always gonna be kinks, that's the way.
there's,
Yep.
yeah, maybe more than a few.
Every conversion I've gone through, and this will be the 3rd one I've gone through, there is always, we're gonna lose data, we're gonna have some issues, we're gonna be backtracking on stuff. And I still see us using paper and some things for a while until we figure some things out, but we will get there. Next divisional meeting, which is the 4th Wednesday of the month. Retired Chief Goldstein, who did 40 years in the system, working part-time for the Sheriff's Department, is coming down to speak with us on mental health. He is been a leading individual for mental health for first responders, puts on many educational stuff, and he's gonna come down and talk to us. And from there, we're probably gonna work on even more kind of training with him for our first responders. So kind of excited about that. Also very excited with Jude and Robin's department training. A bunch of cameras we asked to be put in certain places that we really needed them. And they were just turned on recently, so that is fantastic. I'm sure we have more in the budget later, and doors are coming, force fight price coming later as well too, but a lot of movement over to jail technology that has helped us out, including our guard tour system, that is our round system that county authorized a couple of years ago. It is fully functional, up and running. It has, we have been able to eliminate paper on our rounds and other things at a cost savings as well. With a better tracking system, we can go back and look to make sure everybody's doing their job that they're supposed to, and we can see if they're in and out of compliance, and we can address in the meeting. So that's been good. A lot of the technology over to jail. That is it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Chuck?
So I know I sound like a broken record, but yes, we're into the month following a quarter end, so all sorts of quarterly reporting is going on. Of note, obviously, would be the quarterly reporting in relation to the 9/30/25 budget review, and we also have ancillary reports that we do as well for like internal service funds, needs equipment fund, drug forfeiture, capital fund, and also for division grants fund. We also do separate reporting on that. And just a reminder that meeting is for Friday, 10/24 in Hilton at 9:30. It'll probably, it's first quarter, so it should go relatively quick. So Jaffe will be putting together another slideshow as far as for the new building. So I think that'll be exciting for the EC members that show up. Let's see, this morning we had the Grant Shield kickoff meeting. That's hosted by a few different state agencies. That's, again, used to be known as the Substance Abuse Reduce Initiative. And some other names, I think, in the past as well. So what was a little bit interesting is that for this year, this state fiscal year, it's being funded through the opioid abatement trust fund. So that was a little twist. So they were definitely putting an emphasis on making sure that participating departments track all the drugs that are seized, being, putting a special focus on. Let's see, and also as far as quarterly reporting, obviously payroll reporting, as far as a couple different states, and also for the feds, and also grant reporting as usual. This will be the closeout report on ERA too, because it's come to its natural end. So
That, well, don't have to, good to be done.
yes, there will be some monies, and we knew that there'd be some monies that would be returned to them, but we did spend most of what we had in the.
Can get clawback.
Yes, if it weren't for the clawbacks, and yes, and we also had some after the fact, after we stopped issuing out funds back in like May of 23, we did have some participants who, again, all landlords that returned the checks, I think on some of the hotel individuals, different story. So we had some void and not reissues. So some of the money being returned is because of some voids, but not, checks not being reissued. So, but yes, I'll be happy when that is,
Conclude.
yes.
Well, thank you. Anything else, Jeff?
There's always lots of other things, but no.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to oh, Leila, do you have anything? Sorry.
Thank you.
I
I just have a
apologize.
question about Thanksgiving week. What did you want to do with the scheduling the meeting?
Is it an AP week? Is it, so you need AP approval?
It is an AP week.
Yes,
Yeah,
So
It's not payroll though.
but we could do the AP on Wednesday,
yeah, we can do it.
AP only. Or we can do a full, I'm probably going to be, it's the fall, Thanksgiving is the following week.
You talking about Thanksgiving the 20th or the 27th?
It's the 27th, so meeting the November 26th. Wednesday,
I'm available on the 26th, no problem.
I can appear, I'll probably be remote, but
We'll be kicking up dances at, what's the name of that place?
Radio City Music.
Radio City.
Probably. Okay, yeah, so we'll plan to make that meeting on the 26th.
At what time?
I can appear at any time, but you guys.
I know you like
11.
this 7?
No, 11.
7, I almost had a heart attack. 11's fine.
Chuck, is that okay on your end?
Yes, yeah.
Great,
Thank
great,
you.
then we can, perfect. Okay. All right, now it's time for any new business, old business. Do you have any? Okay.
I know where, oh, I'm just gonna hand it up.
I have new business. We have a walk-in for the application license renewal for the nursing home.
Oh.
That we'd like to submit, for signature so we can get that off to the state of New Hampshire. We need to make sure it's in 100 days, 20 days prior, so if that can be signed, that would be great.
You want to make the motion or do you want?
We agreed to that last week.
No,
Or
That's-
agreed to apply.
Assisted living. That
Oh.
was assisted living.
Yes, and this
was
is for the nursing home,
nursing.
so they're two separate licenses.
You have to make the motion.
I'm gonna start, yes. So I'll make a motion. Again, the application of residential healthcare, special healthcare services be effective, your date,
I believe at the top, it shows the school
Well-
date.
31/25,
Yes,
expiration.
The expiration would be,
It's probably, it's a year.
a year, so it would be 2026.
So I'll just say for 1 year.
But you identify,
I think who it's gonna be,
right?
medical director.
It's the application for resident,
State of New Hampshire.
yeah,
Department
services,
of- Mm,
naming,
Yeah, I read this.
okay. I don't know what, but I have to look at it. Yes. Oh, for the licensee, Rockingham,
License for Rockingham
with
County
the administrator.
rehabilitation and yeah, administrator Chantel Jacone. And the medical director is Dr. Christian Mullins. In 1 year,
You want? Yeah.
just say second.
I don't know how Leila is going to be able to put that motion together. I understand the intention.
It's already done.
Put it in front of you, I'll read those.
Make it up. Go ahead. I'm gonna let her do.
I move to approve the application for residential healthcare or special healthcare services, beginning, for the fiscal year, this is the expiration date, so, for a license renewal commencing the first, I guess, forthwith and expiring December 31st, 2025, the licensee being Rockingham County, with the administrator being Chantel Jacone and medical director Dr. Kristen, as recommended by the administrator of long-term care services.
Exactly what I was gonna say, second.
The expiration that we're signing is
Yeah.
for
So,
December 31st of
25.
26,
yes,
right?
the expiration.
Because this one expires on on 25.
Correct.
So
For
can
the
we
next-
amend that motion
Just
just,
say 25.
you said
I'm
25.
sorry, I meant to say
that's
26 as I was,
why. Okay, so
yeah.
I
As,
second the motion as amended.
okay, any further discussion? As amended, Commissioner Godu?
Yes.
Commissioner Tombrilla? No,
Thank you.
okay.
So we need to sign it now?
There is,
Is there a spot for our signature?
There is.
Without the little yellow flag, I'm not sure I know what to do.
I think it's just. Signatures, okay, and authorize the chair to sign all necessary documents as recommended, sorry. As amended.
As amended.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Any other, you said you had some new
Yeah,
business,
Just
Commissioner?
real quick, I did attend I know the superintendent talked a little bit about mental health and I was at a Chester event on Saturday and the sheriff and the county attorney both spoke regarding mental health and some of the crazy stuff that's actually happening in Rockingham County with human trafficking and stuff that's happened that kind of caught off guard by it all, but he did, the sheriff and the county attorney both, I spoke to, by the way, I wasn't supposed to, but I did. Weird. I could never give up an opportunity. But they talked about how some of the older guys didn't have the mental health, they went through the academy. And how all of a sudden it's here on them and it's new to them because they didn't have it back then. So the gentleman that you said that the sheriff put on 40 years, his expertise is in mental health. So some of the chiefs from 3 towns was Chester, Raymond, and the Auburn chief were all there. Kind of funny, but there's a ban on a fire, but they had a big bonfire because 3 police chiefs were there. I'm like, oh, that's nice, huh? That's nice. You can only do it, but it was really good, and I thought the sheriff did really, really well, and the county attorney really told us some of the crazy things that are happening in this world. That's really horrifying, that it's in our county. We just hear about it and think about it. I know you as a lawyer and a prosecutor see it, but to hear that what's going on is crazy, crazy, crazy. So,
Can I hold
but
those?
they did a great job.
Can I get to hold all those people?
Yeah, I attended Monday. I surprised the jail with a 8 o'clock coffee and I met with them with the command staff. So all the brass was in there. We talked about a bunch of different stuff. It was nice to see the guys, although I don't know why you gotta go through 40 doors to get in the conference room. I said, I'll never get out of here. So I attended that and, good.
Right, we'll move right on to public comment. No one see any,
Nobody.
okay. Then we're gonna head right into non-public session. And let's see, I think we'll, Kendra, do you want to start off? Non-public, okay. Do you have any?
This person,
Like, real quick, if you want to talk about the extension or not.
Oh,
Yes, please.
yeah, that's fine. Do you want to,
Oh, yeah, we.
that
need
would
to
be,
talk about
but that should be.
That's 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Yeah,
Okay, so if it's okay, we'll do Jason, then Kendra, then Alton. You're probably staying in for Kendra's anyway, so you get to, you can say this. Okay. We'll take a motion to enter into non-public.
Yes, we gotta give Stacy that.
Yes, I think Eileen's gonna call her.
Right, okay.
J
I'm gonna go get
and
something to
A.
eat, but then I'll be in my office.
All right.
second,
On the motion, Commissioner Godu,
yes.
Commissioner Tombrello, and I vote yes.
I'm-
Good afternoon. We are back from non-public session. We had 3 non-public sessions and I turn it over to Commissioner Tombrello to make the motion relative to those 3 sessions.
I'll make a motion to seal the non-public minutes, because it's determined that the volumes of this information likely would personnel item render a proposed action ineffective, and effective versus the reputation of any person other than a member of the board. So I would do number 2 would be, the second one would be the personnel item. And then the other 2, I think, could be render
I think-
an action ineffective.
I think if I may,
Yeah,
do you want to, or do
No, go ahead.
may go?
Well, I'm not sure which, the numbers. I
So-
thought we were not sealing.
The third,
Is it
So-
the third one that we're not sealing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we're sealing 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
and
Yeah.
both 1 and 2 are sealed indefinitely.
3
The one
Mm.
sealed indefinitely because it
it
could render.
adversely render a reputation person.
Number one is being sealed because it could render a proposed action ineffective, and we don't know what the end date is for that action. Number 2 is being sealed indefinitely because it adversely affects the reputation of other than a member of this board, and that impact on that reputation is ongoing.
3 we're not gonna see it.
And 3 is not.
And 3 we're not sealing.
Okay, so on Commissioner Tombrello's motion as clarified.
Second,
Any discussion? Commissioner Tombrello,
Yes.
Commissioner Godu,
yes.
and I vote yes.
Motion to
Final,
adjourn.
second.
I beat you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.